Hello and welcome to the Quantum Gateway. I'm your host Architect, and today we have coverage from the King and Prince tournament that went down over the weekend. Like your usual King and Prince tournaments, we'll be seeing only one map, and today that is the Turtle Fest, known as the Gap of Rohan. Let's go ahead and take a look at the format. The competition was for teams of 4 battling it out. There are brackets for the title of King with no rating restrictions and Prince for under 1400s. There are 3 rounds of points-based Swiss style, and every game is going to go down on the Gap of Rohan. Before we get started, let's just have a quick look at what we've got in the tournament pipeline. We've got a free-for-all tournament coming up, no rating restrictions, and cash prizes I'm told, so that sounds pretty good. Then we've got an eco-horde tournament. If you don't know what that means, don't worry, I don't either. It's some crazy scheme of limiting the number of factories to the number of mixes you have. I don't know. So if that sounds like something for you, go and sign up. The last thing we've got is the WWPC, that's the Worldwide People's Championship, an ongoing competition which is bi-weekly. So if you want to sign up for this, head over to the forums and get your name down in the WWPC thread. Alright, enough with all of that. Let's take a look at our princes first, where 100 Energy Please took out the title. That last game was a stomp fest too, with the hundreds coming together to get a Monkey Lord out at 15 minutes. Despite dipping below 700 health at one point, that Monkey Lord vetted up and killed the entire quantum physics team. It was definitely the fastest game of the tournament so far. Now we're headed back into the arena to see how the Kings of the Gap are getting on for their final match. We've finished up the rounds already, and a tie means that the Crusaders and Name My Band have gated back down to the planet to decide the winner. For the Crusaders, we've got Yorick in the top air slot playing as Seraphim, and he is rated 1700. Beside him, we've got Lexicon choosing Cybern for a center slot, and he is rated 1500. Next to him, we have got Hard Newbie. He is 1500 and also taking Cybern for the center slot. And to round out the other air slot for the Crusaders, we've got Demodka Fox. He is going UEF in the air position. Let's jump across to Name My Band and see who we've got there. In the top position, we've got Zlo taking UEF. Interesting choice for air there. We can expect something from him, I think. We've got Takedo going as customary Cybern. We wouldn't expect anything else from him. Beside him, we've got Jagged Appliance taking UEF for the front position. And rounding out Name My Band, we've got Heaven rated 1700, and he is taking Aeon for the air slot. Alright, let's zoom out a little bit and see how these guys are getting on in the centre. So your typical gap game, you've got a rush for the centre. The ACUs will scoop up all the mass that they can in the centre, and they'll duke it out. Sometimes you see some ACU explosions, sometimes you see lots of ACU explosions. Sometimes you see lots of TAC missiles, and you can see here, Name My Band has already got a TMD out, so they've got a T2 upgrade there on Takedo, so that will be an assistance from the other 2 ACUs to get that TMD up and running as soon as possible. They are expecting some TAC missiles to be flying across the gap, and we can see right now a TAC launcher has gone up from Hard Newbie, so we can expect something going across. We may have scouting on that TAC missile launcher. Let's just have a quick look at what he can see. Yes, they do have sight on that, so he knows that there's no point in trying to hit those ACUs with that TAC launcher, so he's going to go for something else, probably T2 mixes. We can expect to launch any second now as that gets ready to fire, and we're going to see where that hits. Decent amount of scouting going out from Hard Newbie, getting across and finding what is upgrading in the base. So typically you just have your engineers in the base, and they're going to be upgrading your T2 mixes, and we've got our first TAC missile out, so those scouts will have been finding exactly where that TAC missile should head, and that's going to hit a T2 mix to cause the maximum amount of damage. TAC launchers of course cost 500 mass to build a missile, and a T2 mix costs a lot more than that, so it's very economical if you can take out a T2 mix with a single TAC missile. If you have to fire multiple TAC missiles to defeat TMD, then it becomes much less efficient. But in this case, we can see Jagged Appliance has nothing T2 up in his base yet other than those mass extractors, and that missile's just going to cruise in there and do a nice amount of damage. We've got a decent air force up for Jagged Appliance, so he's been focusing on the air game a little bit, and that's going to support Zlow's ACU, who's sitting here in a transport, and he's heading across to Yorick's base. What do you think he has planned? Well, I can tell you, something devious. So we're going to see immediately some T1 PD go up for Zlow, and that's going to be to provide the maximum amount of DPS for the minimum build time and build mass. So while T2 PD does outrange T1, the extra DPS that T1 does means it's much more suited to getting in behind enemy buildings or units and doing more damage for less cost. We can see Yorick is responding in exactly the same way. He's got a couple of T1 PD up and running, and Zlow is going to just pop in there with his ACU, and, well, what do we got? A capture. Very nice. So that ACU's captured the T1 PD, which is turning around and destroying the T1 engineers that are building it. So now Zlow's got 2 free T1 PD, and he's continuing to build more. So this is looking a bit precarious for Yorick. He is trying to get some T1 PD up online in the north here to try and stop Zlow from taking out his entire base, but Zlow's getting a pretty good foothold. He is now seeing a little bit of T1 artillery spam, which is a problem because those T1 PD don't have much range and the artillery will be able to kill them, so he does need support. At the moment he's only got that ACU and whatever he can build from this factory, so he's going to try as much as he can to stop the artillery coming in from the south of the Crusaders side and taking out the little fire base that he's trying to establish. Zooming out, let's see. Well, here we go. Lexicon is actually repaying the favour, and he's got a bunch of Mantis into Zlow's base. Now Zlow doesn't have a lot of units online in his base because all of his eco at the moment is focused on getting that position where Yorick is. So he's doing everything he can with that ACU. Well, he's actually not doing a lot of building right now. So he's got just this one factory that's actually all the mass he's consuming. So he's on 29 mass income. So he could be doing something. Well, we can see what he's doing with the rest of his mass. He is building gunships. So he's going to use those gunships to defend those Mantis, and they are going to be able to take those out before they do a lot of damage. We've also got some Wagners coming in from Takedo, so he's helping out his teammate, and he's going to come in and just provide some ground support to take out those Mantis before they can do too much damage. Zlow is going to lose all of these mixes here, which is a little bit of a problem for him because he does need to make sure he doesn't get starved of mass while his ACU is there. He does want to be able to build PD and shields if he needs to, but, well, there's a heck of a lot of spam coming up, so the Crusaders are now responding to that threat from Zlow, and they are spamming up as much as they can. There's actually a heck of a lot. So we've got, wow, looks like half a dozen factories, and they're all spamming artillery. Now, artillery rounds do not track, so while the ACU moves, it's pretty hard to hit, but if you've got enough artillery, it's a massive barrage of artillery fire, and it's actually a little bit harder to dodge, and if you can get enough in there, then you're going to be able to take out that ACU, and those T1 PDs are not going to stand a chance either. You can see this bottom one in the factory have already gone down to those artilleries coming in, and Zlow is, well, he needs a little bit of support here. There's actually enough coming in to kill him if he's not really careful. So he's got those gunships, those are going to be a nice little bit of support. There isn't any flak on the field yet. There's a little bit of T1 anti-air. That is going to take a little bit longer to chew through the HP on the gunships. So those gunships are going to stay alive for a little while. There are a lot of interceptors as well from Jagged Appliance, so that's going to protect any aircraft coming in and taking out those gunships. Takedo does a nice little drop here and drops a couple of Wagners in to help out with that assault, and then gives the transport back to Zlow, so Zlow's now back on board and he's taking off with his ACU, and he's just going to try and get him the heck out of there because we've got a lot of spam coming online. It does mean though that nothing is focused across to the left, so everything that the Crusaders are building is focusing up to the north, and all of that pressure is not being applied across the Takedo and Jagged Appliance, so that's given them quite a lot of breathing space. We've got, well, Zlow's thinking about dropping his ACU there to continue the fight, so by dropping there he's going to be able to continue to build factories and just provide a little bit of a distraction and open up another front, so just really create that second place where the Crusaders need to focus their units. Looks like he's thinking better of that, and he's going to get that ACU out of there. He's got a lot of gunships messed up, though. We can see, well, let's just have a quick count up of how many he's got there. Well, no, he's got gifted gunships. That's why the selection is not grabbing all of them. So when you control click or double click on a unit, it selects all of that type. But if another faction's gunships have been gifted to you, or same for any unit, it's actually not going to select all of them. So we can't get an accurate count there, but well, actually we can shift and click, and that's going to tell us there are, well, there's a dozen still online. What he has done though is catch Lexicon's ACU out of the open, and that ACU is actually running really low on health. Those gunships are going to take him out, and that's going to take out a lot of the T1 spam with him. Now Lexicon, the white player here, he's got a lot of that artillery on the field as well, so that's all going to go poof when that ACU goes. So we're going to see any minute now pop, and there's a whole lot of the units for the Crusaders that have just been vaporized. It did take out Zlow's gunships, so the ACU Death Nuke did take out the gunships that were attacking them, so that does remove a lot of a threat, because, well, Hard Newbie here doesn't really have a lot of air support, so if those gunships had stayed alive, they probably would have been able to come through and pillage a little bit more. What it does mean though is Yorick now has the ability to get his base back online. He still has enough of an engineering presence here to rebuild, get those mexes back up, and he can pick up all of this reclaim. So there's actually been, well, quite a big dump of mass on the side of the map. Zlow, in contrast, he's evacuated his ACU all the way across here, but there's not a lot for him to reclaim, so he's going to rely on generated mass to be able to upgrade. We've got a little bit of a stalemate. Looks like the Name My Band guys have not taken advantage of the distraction in the north to really push across the centre, so they've focused a lot of their resources. They haven't made a big push, and there's actually a little bit of a push coming through from Yorick, so I'm not sure how far these artillery are going to get. Because the artillery rounds aren't tracking, you are going to be able to just dodge them with tanks, and the tanks are going to be able to do a lot of damage. You can see a little bit of PD online. There's also a couple of ACUs, so with a bit of micro on those ACUs, they're easily going to be able to take out all of that. So now they're walking into range of the T2 PD, and, well, they're starting to turn back. I'm not sure that they're going to be able to do enough damage. If the artilleries can get in range, they will be able to take out that PD, but those two commanders there are going to be a bit of a problem for this number of artillery. Just a little bit of micro, a little bit of dancing around, and those artilleries are going to go down. Have we got anything being applied anywhere else? No, well, there's gunships here. They've managed to come down and take out a bunch of Modka Fox's mexes. So those guys have, wow, there's 5 mexes there, and a T2 PD, no, T2 mass, what am I talking about? Power gen. T2 power gen, and that's gone down as well. So he's managed to do a little bit of eco damage there, and he's just evacuating those gunships, so there's probably enough AA coming online. Well, there is an air cleaner there for Modka Fox, so that is going to stop those gunships from getting right into the base, but they've done a reasonable amount of damage. Well, okay, so we've got, well, that attack is just about petered out. There's a couple of tanks just mopping up the last of them, accompanied by a gunship. So that's the last of that attack. So it looks like we've now entered, well, a typical Gap of Rohan phase, where everybody ecos and, well, not much happens. So let's take this opportunity to go back and review some of the earlier rounds that we've had in this King tournament, because I bet you there's some pretty interesting stuff that's gone down. Back in the rounds, BFA and the Crusaders threw experimentals against each other. BFA got the first Monkey Lord out of the gate and did some damage to the Crusaders, but not enough to warrant the mess that they handed over. The Crusaders hit back with a trio of Monkey Lords, followed up by Strats and a Soul Ripper to take the win. Name My Band took on the Dynasty in clearly the most absurd match of the tournament. You know what I said earlier about the fastest match of the tournament? No, this is. This is going to be the highest percentage of your game we're going to watch, but I promise you, you won't get bored. All 8 ACUs move to the centre and start blasting away at each other. Jagged Appliance is the first to go, but the Death Nuke does 2500 damage, so that means if you're under 2500 HP and in the blast radius, you're going to die too. And your buddy who is on less than 5k, he's going to die too. And so on until you all die. Name My Band wins the match when Zlow manages to get his ACU out of the danger zone He's got 3200 HP left, and he's the only one left standing after 4 minutes and 21 seconds after a huge chain reaction. Wow. Next, the Dynasty took on BFA in another absurd 8-way Commander Punch-Out. The Dynasty ran through the gap and tried to take out BFA one by one, but after getting separated and too close to the unit production of BFA, they all die on the far side of the gap. Next, we have highlights from Name My Band against Crusaders. Okay, well, in contrast to the last two matches, it was a 1 hour, 16 minute Turtle Fest. I bet you're glad you didn't watch a live stream of that. In any case, Name My Band won the match. In the final pool match, Name My Band took on BFA, and BFA made another mockery. Everyone gave engineers to Luxie, and he stayed behind building while the others paid Name My Band a visit. They lose one ACU, and a Control K chain reacts Zlo and Takedo, the result being Luxie has got 4 ecos on one side, and Jagged Appliance and Heaven are left on the other. I don't know about you, but I don't think I'd want to play Luxie with 4 ecos, so he spammed Heaven and Jagged Appliance to death. Well, yeah, that's that. Alright, I think that is quite enough of this ridiculous play. Let's head back to the game zone where the two finalists are getting on and see if they've done anything while we've been away. Well, to be honest, it doesn't look like a whole lot. We've got a little bit of poking and prodding, got a few T2 tanks moving in here, so Takedo's got his rhinos out, so he's switched from Wagners up to rhinos, slightly better for a open terrain where there's no water. And, well, if we're going to be completely honest, yeah, there's not a lot happening. So, there's got to be some experimentals under construction somewhere. Let's just have a bit of a look around. We can see a spider has just started going down from Takedo. He is reclaiming its excess power to get some extra mass to bring that online. And do we have anything coming online for the Crusaders? Yes, there is a Monkey Lord. It has just been started as well. So we're at the 17-minute mark. So it's a little bit slower, but they're both about the same point, so neither team is going to get a real big advantage from 2 Monkey Lords coming out at the same time. The difference will be if one of them can get it over to their side and reclaim the wreck. That is going to be an extra mass boost for that team. Now, let's just have a look at how we're getting on for air. Well, I mean, even for a Gap game, this is not a heck of a lot going on. Slow's back in the transport. Let's see if he does something interesting. No, he's just coming to assist that Monkey Lord. So, well, yeah, still just a complete lack of action, really. So, I bet you're really glad that we actually took a little bit of time out and watched some replays instead of this. So, oh, what have we got here? Yorick, is he going with a bit of a crafty move here? Or is he just going to get himself killed? I mean, he's got his AC right out the front, and you have to be quite careful, especially on Gap. If you don't have a huge amount of scouting, you don't know what's coming. So, there could be a lot of stuff in here. There could be a attack missile battery. There can be quite a few things. And, well, if you don't have it all scouted, then you could be in for a bit of a surprise. And because the ACUs are fairly slow moving, pretty much any unit can catch them, especially experimentals. If you are sitting in the middle of the gap and a Monkey Lord pops out, you are screwed. The Monkey Lord is faster than you are, it's got way more DPS than you do, and your commander's sitting out all by himself, he's going to die. So, yeah, you want to be really careful. He has got a T2 shield up, so that is going to provide a little bit of extra protection, but unless he's actually got units or a way to get out of there quickly, it's still quite a risky move. So we'll see if anything happens to him. If we got any T3 air on the field, we do, so we've still got a lot of interceptors, so still a lot of air at the T1 stage, but Heaven has switched to T3 air and he is getting a few ASFs out. So a few ASFs is going to be able to damage everybody, and well, actually he's used that T3 factory to get strat bombers. Wow, okay, we've lost 2/3 of the health of Yorick in one pass, so he's going to have to be really careful. He's trying to duck back inside that shield, so he's abandoned what he was doing, and he's trying to get to a little bit of safety. They do need a bunch of air to support, and well, the Crusaders just don't have any air. They've still got T1 interceptors. There's nothing that can challenge those ASFs and be able to bring those strat bombers down, so that Yeah, that ACU is not looking healthy. He's down to 200 HP after that last part. That is not good. And, well, we've got a couple of gunships here. Oh, they're trying to make a run. All they needed was to do a little bit of damage, but it was just not quite enough. So they've regened up to 600 HP now. There's another pass from the strats. The T2 flak, of course, is too slow to be able to hit the fast-moving strat bombers, and the ACU goes up in a fiery death. So that is Yorick out of the game. So that's the second Crusader we've seen go down. We've got a Monkey Lord battle going on here. Now that Monkey Lord came through into the range of the Ravagers, so the Crusader's Monkey Lord's going to die really quickly and stand no chance. So that leaves a little bit of a problem now for the Crusaders, because there are still 4 players on Name My Band. They've got a Monkey Lord which is up and running. He is only on about, well, 2/3 health. He is on a single veterancy, so he's going to be able to do quite a bit of damage with that. But Monkey Lords don't take that long to build, and we've got another one just about completed over here for Hard Newbie. So if he can get that online, that will be able to take out that other Monkey Lord. Even though the other Monkey Lord has 1 veterancy, the health difference will still allow this new one to win. So we're going to have to watch what happens there. We're going to see, they're going to try and push through this gap, so it looks like they're getting through there. We're going to, well, we've got enough anti-air. Well, yes, we've got a little bit of anti-air coming out now for Modka Fox. So they've got to the T3 stage, so they are going to be able to bring out strat bombers and perhaps be able to make a difference to that Monkey Lord if the Name My Band guys don't have air control on the side of the map. So we'll see just how far that Monkey Lord can push up, because he's at a little bit of risk. If you do get out and exposed on the other side of the map, then there's not a lot you can do, and especially now that this Monkey Lord here is online, if he can intercept, that is going to be a pile of reclaim over to the Crusaders. The Crusaders are struggling a little bit. The raids at the top and the loss of Yorick have meant that these ecos, the 2 eco slots up here, are completely empty. So, well, that's quite a big eco disadvantage. If we just have a quick look at what the ecos are doing, we've got Hard Newbie. He's actually done really well in terms of eco whoring. He's actually at 150 mass income, so he's leading the pack. Next we've got Takedo and sitting on 130, followed by Jagged Appliance 125, Zlo at 112, and then the other guys are sub 100, or just cracking the 100 mark. Oh, it looks like Hard Newbie was actually on reclaim, so he's sitting on 100. So yeah, the Crusaders are definitely at a mass disadvantage, and they've got half the number of players, and we've now got a pair of Monkey Lords. This Monkey Lord has regenerated up to almost full health. He's actually just above what the full health of a no-vet Monkey Lord is, and so those 2 guys there are going to be able to easily take out the 1 Monkey Lord that the Crusaders have got. So he's actually trying to get out of there. He's trying to get his ACU out of there as well. He's caught up on units, so that is not a good look. He's moving in, he's going to try and overcharge. That is not going to go down well. The health on that ACU just does not stand up to the 4k DPS, especially when there's 2 of them, and the ACU and Monkey Lord both go down. So that's going to leave another gaping hole in the lines for Crusaders, and this match is all but over. We've got a little bit of T3 air on the field for Modka Fox. He's may be able to challenge the ASF and maybe be able to drop some of the strat bombers. There we can just see a strat bomber go down there. So he's able to hold a little bit in the air, but he really has got nothing to answer this pair of Monkey Lords, which are heading directly down to his base. So these guys here, there's, well, 100k of health between them. There's 8k DPS, and they're up against a commander. That commander's not going to have much in the way of upgrades. He's going to have T2, probably T3. He's probably not going to have a shield, and, well, he's definitely not going to have gun. So the best that he's going to be able to do is maybe stay alive long enough for one of those shields to overcharge 1 Monkey Lord to death, but 2 Monkey Lords, that means definite nuclear explosion coming right up, and he's just wandered into range now. That shield goes down. He does have the commander shield, so that's a pretty good upgrade to have against the Monkey Lord, and potentially with a little bit of assistance and a bit more shielding, he could have taken that 1 Monkey Lord down. Of course, there is another Monkey Lord right there, so there is absolutely no chance for Modka Fox. He fought valiantly until the end, but he just couldn't hold on. So we've now got a winner. Name My Band are the kings of the Gap of Rohan. Thanks for sticking around, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, click the like button. If you want to see more, click the subscribe button, and I'll see you on the other side of the Quantum Gateway.